We're going to be making homemade biscuits today, so I got a full stick of butter, which is about 8 tablespoons of butter. We're going to have 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and around 3/4 cup of a milk, more or less, depending on how much that you need. You might need more, you might need less. So right now I'm going to mix the powdery ingredients in the bowl first. So I mixed up the powdery ingredients here. Just want to tell you the baking powder is used to actually help the biscuits rise. So if you want to eliminate the baking powder, you can always get self-rising flour, and that way you can eliminate the process of baking powder. So, but I like to keep all-purpose flour and just use baking powder when needed. So now I'm going to be breaking pieces of the butter into the mixture, and then we'll add the milk. So I just broke up a whole stick or 8 tablespoons of butter, broke into pieces to put in the mixture here, as you can see. So I put some milk in here. I didn't put all of my milk in there. I'm about to stir it up and then work it with my hands a little bit. You don't want to overwork it, and see how it combines. And we could either we could actually add more milk if needed. I just want to tell you in this step here, if you want to, if you could actually add cheese right here, shredded cheese, and onion powder, garlic powder. If you want to kind of make it like Red Lobster biscuits, like the cheesy biscuits that are so good. Another thing that could be good in here is if you have some real bacon pieces, and you can dump some bacon pieces in this, and that can make it really good as well. So I put some flour on my cupboard here, and so I'll put the mixture on here, and we'll add flour if needed, which will probably will need flour added to it, and work it up a little bit. Now I'm going to be kneading the flour here. So before this, I actually added a little bit more milk to get all the mixture. So and then after I put it in a ball, I actually added some more flour to it. So now I'm just going to knead it. You don't want to overwork it. And the best way to do is to fold it left and right and sideways and stuff like that. And then you can flatten it out here on the cupboard. Okay, so here, this depends on how big and thick you want your biscuits. So if you want them bigger and thicker, you're not going to have as many biscuits. So you can just determine what thickness and how big you want your biscuits right here. So what my mom taught me to do was to use the end of a cup. You could use a small cup or a big cup to determine the size of your biscuit here. So let's say I want to use my measuring cup here, like right here. And then basically what I do is just press down like this. And then you got a biscuit here. So you might want to put a little flour on the edges here, because if you don't, it might stick. I actually just experienced that. And so then you just pull it out right here. You just pull it out, and then you'll, see right there, just break it off like that. And then you're going to just put it on your biscuit pan, and make sure you spray the bottom of your biscuit pan. And then once you do all the cuts right here, then you just wad it back up and flatten out whatever's left over and do another cut. And then if you can't do that anymore, then you can just roll it into a ball and flatten it and then put it on the pan. Okay, so I went ahead and cut up all the biscuits. The one on the end here is what I had left, and I just rolled it up kind of and flattened it out. That's why I don't look perfect really. But I wanted to tell you that I added whole milk to this mixture. You can actually replace that with buttermilk to give it more of a buttery flavor. Well, buttermilk flavor, I should say. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the oven on 425 between 12 and 15 minutes until the top is a little bit brown. So that's how I'm going to be cooking them. So, and I got 8 of them because I wanted bigger biscuits. So if you want smaller ones, you can have more biscuits. So my biscuits are done here. It took about 15 minutes on 425. I don't like to overcook biscuits because, I was scared I might, get it too brown on the bottom. So this is the way I like mine. If you want them a little browner, you could actually cook them a little bit longer, like put them on broil for like a minute or something, and to get it a little brown on the top if you want. But I wouldn't do it that long because you don't want burnt biscuits. It stinks too. So you can actually spray some butter on top of these biscuits if you want. Flavor them. You can, put some garlic powder or onion powder on it, if you want to make it more like a Red Lobster biscuit. But yeah, this is the way it looks. And like I said, you can make less biscuits and make them bigger and thicker, or make them smaller and have more biscuits. Today I'm going to be making some homemade gravy because one of the reasons is I got a lot of this bacon grease left over from just cooking some bacon. So you can use any kind of oil you want. You can use olive oil, you can use vegetable oil, but I think bacon grease and sausage grease is the best to use because to me it adds more flavor to your gravy. So I'm going to be putting some of this in a pan. So I've got all this grease from the bacon. Make sure you never ever put it down a drain. I did that one time when I was a kid, and I thought my dad was going to really kill me because it actually stopped up the drain, and I can't remember if he hired a plumber to fix it or what, but yeah, I got in trouble for that, and I learned my lesson not to ever do it again. So what you can do is just use this grease for a lot of different things. Like I said, you can use it for gravy if you want, or other things, or I keep like a jar, and I put my leftover grease in that, and then once it gets full, I just throw it away usually. But yeah, you can reuse this grease for other things. Just do not, I repeat, do not put it in the drain in your sink. So I got some bacon grease in the pan here, and I'm just heating it up. So now what I'm about to do is put several tablespoons of flour and probably about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch as well. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I want this gravy to thicken up, so we're about to do that. So I got the flour in here and also some cornstarch. So now I'm about to stir it with the grease. So I got it on low to medium heat here, so I just stir it up and letting it thicken, and I'm going to be gradually adding milk while I keep stirring it. So you just gradually add milk until it thickens, and once it starts thickens, you can add a little bit more milk to it, and it requires constant stirring pretty much. If it never thickens, you can add more flour to it, but you want to keep it stirred and just kind of get the edges here, and do this too of your spoon to keep from having clumps in it. You don't want clumps in it. To try to help the clumps, you can also stir it like this with your spoon flat. And just kind of do it like that. Because you don't want clumps in your gravy. Or pop it up like that and kind of do it like that. This is the way it's looking so far. So I'm about to add some salt and pepper to it. I was going to tell you I'm using whole milk, but you can actually use pet milk if you want, or any other kind of milk that you want. Gravy is one of the hardest things to make in my book. It's really hard to make. You know, actually, the Walmart actually has a canned gravy that's really, really, really good. And you can get it in the canned section and eat it. And you just heat it up in the microwave, and it tastes really good. I like it. So, and it's not too terribly expensive. But so far I haven't added flour to the mixture yet. Gradually pouring milk is, in my opinion, is really what helps thicken it up. If you put a bunch of milk at one time, I've never had my gravy thicken up. Just pouring a bunch of milk into it. The gradual process is really what helps me. But yeah, you can actually add pieces of sausage to this and stir it up, and it makes a really good gravy as well. It makes a good meal that you can even put on different types of meat if you want, or no meat at all. You know, I've actually had it for dinner before, so it don't actually have to be breakfast. But yeah, you just kind of just stir it in here, and then you can gradually add more milk if you want. So I added the salt and pepper, and I also added just a little bit of sugar, but not much. And it's starting to get thick now. It's about done. And always make sure that you keep stirring it. You know, you don't want it to scorch or burn the gravy because it's really nasty. But here you can see the thickness right here, like that. And if there's any lumps, just keep doing this with your spoon. I think most of this is really just bacon pieces in here from the grease. But yeah, just kind of do that, or do this. You could scrape the sides here too and kind of do the same thing, like that. Yeah, it's about done here, so it's getting to where, you know, where I like it actually. I like mine a little thick, as you can see, like right there. See? I'm just stirring a little bit, but it's about done. The gravy is done. Here's where you can put pieces of sausage in it too, to make it even tastier if you want. You can even put bacon bits in it, whatever you prefer. Okay, so here it is, the gravy on top of a biscuit. Some people like red flakes, you know, on this too. So if you want to, you can add a couple little red flakes as well. Yes, this looks very, very yummy. I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like and share our videos. Thanks again.